LiberateMKE was the African American Roundtable's Invest Divest campaign that we launched in 2019. We decided that the work that we really wanted to be up to was something around the budget. We actually were politicized through it, through a couple comrades in the work, Nate Gilliam, and also some other folks in the community who showed us this pie chart. The pie chart had all of these different components to it, but one component stood out. It was like half of the pie chart almost was blue. And I'm like, well, what department gets that in the city? And folks told me it was the police. And I'm like, well, how can any city thrive with one department, very specifically the police department, taking up that much of the budget? We wanted to make sure that we were giving residents an opportunity to be a part of and to educate them around the city budget, also to change the material conditions on the ground, and also to divest from police who clearly get way too much of the city's dollars.
When we launched the campaign in 2019, I remember I just started with the African American Roundtable, and people thought that this campaign was unwinnable, and seeing any divestment from police was not possible. And so we were able in that first year to move close to $1 million away from policing into programs that we advocated for and organized around is something we're super proud of.
I think that the most transformational part of LiberateMKE, for me at least, was when we went out and canvassed the neighborhood. As a matter of fact, we identified the highest turnout ward of one of the aldermen from the north side of Milwaukee, and we went and knocked that ward and found 300 people who were willing to sign pledge cards saying that they wanted to see money allocated from police to things like affordable housing, youth jobs, and other priorities. And so that for me was transformational, delivering those cards to that alderman and seeing their reaction as they were not expecting that level of support for something like this in their district. We were able to really wake people up through our campaign, and I think that's been the most transformational part of it. Starting off with, I think, $300,000 in the first year for affordable housing, then going up to $4.3 million or something like that, then going $43.5 million in the year after that. So being able to make tangible investments into affordable housing, things that's going to impact hundreds, if not thousands of people, is huge, as well as other things like youth employment. All of our victories have tangible impacts on people, but like I said before, it's really the awakening of the people to get them to think about public safety in a different way, to get them to think about what that truly looks like and what they really need, and to understand the fiscal realities of the city and where we are able to make investments and not able to make investments based on our priorities. And so being able to wake people up and achieve the victories that we were able to achieve.
Throughout the years, we've won several things, including increasing the pay for youth interns in the Earn and Learn program, and just an expansion of the Earn and Learn program. If you look back in the 2020 budget, we saw $72,000 go to the Earn and Learn program, and since then we've seen additional investments throughout ARPA go to Earn and Learn. 2020 budget, we saw money going to birthing moms dealing with lead to give them lead kits. We've also saw over the years just increased money going to housing programs. And then just recently in 2025, we saw the city invest $600,000 into participatory budgeting.
I came into aware of LiberateMKE in late 2022, early 2023. At the time, I was a grad student at UWM. I was still figuring out not just myself, where I wanted to be in my personal life and academically, but I also wanted to be connected to a community that had the same values as me. And specifically, I wanted to be a part of a community that cared about abolition, that cared about imagining alternatives to public safety, and embracing our authenticity as Black people. So in Milwaukee, there is a strong and powerful class of people who have been able to control the narrative around policing and safety more generally. LiberateMKE has done an amazing job in kind of breaking that narrative apart and being able to put real people either in front of the Common Council, on the corner at bus stops, everywhere across the city, talking to their peers, their families, and being able to break this narrative that more money in policing means more safety. We've been able to challenge that in a very strong way at all levels of community and governance, and I feel like that's been one of the most profound things.
One reason we're going to be sunsetting LiberateMKE is Act 12, which passed in 2023 at the state level, which just makes it harder to divest money from police. So every dollar we would win divesting money from the police would be $1 less Milwaukee would receive in shared revenue, or money they receive back from the state. And what that means is that elected officials are not willing to cut from police. It's just not possible. And so in 2024, as we're in the middle of the campaign, our fellows have shown up to the budget meetings. They've interrupted the mayor's public budget release, and still we weren't able to get meetings with elected officials. And so that led us to the decision that we need to be sunsetting the campaign.
But we've been talking to residents on the doors and community events and in our spaces since 2021. And residents quite often talk about places that they want to belong, opportunities for young people. And we've been hearing folks talk about an opportunity to be a part of developing something around food safety. We know with everything that's going on currently in this world and the administration, people need access to food. And we know that some of those opportunities are becoming more and more scarce because of city and county and state programs being cut along with those resources. And so we want to bring some type of food safety campaign to the Northwest Side. Residents have spoken, and we want to go in the direction and towards that energy. We're not sure of all of the moving pieces, but we know that people want to know how to grow food. People want to know how and where to buy food, what healthy food is, how to prepare it. They want to know the full gambit. But we're super excited because we have a Northwest Side cohort who's helping to develop and hold the campaign. Right now, they're going through some leadership development skill-ups. So it's been a really exciting journey to be on this path with our residents since 2021. And so we're looking forward to more residents getting involved because we can't win campaigns with 10 to 15 people. We need the city to come out to support this work, to continue to build the Milwaukee that we all deserve.
Yeah, folks can get involved with art by several reasons. Obviously, you can donate to the African American Roundtable. Go to our website, you can donate. You can become a member. If you're like, I'm looking for a political home and you're Black in Milwaukee, you can become a member of the African American Roundtable. And the last thing is you can engage within the campaign. What we know is going to take more than the 11 leaders on the Northwest Side to win this campaign around food access. So there's definitely a space and room for each and every one of you to join the campaign and help us win food access for the Northwest Side.